In the heart of Lagos, there was a man named Chike Okoye, known by everyone for his wealth, charm, and magnetic personality. At only 32, he was a self-made billionaire thanks to his booming real estate business and some smart investments. Chike was tall and handsome, always impeccably dressed, and wherever he went, people admired his confidence and success. Though he had grown up with little, he now lived in a lavish mansion, drove the finest cars, and surrounded himself with the best life had to offer. Chike's wife Amara was only 25. She was soft-spoken, graceful, and intelligent. And when they had met, Chike had fallen for her quiet strength and beauty. He had courted her grandly, promising her the world, and she quickly became his beloved wife. But despite the comforts and love she found with him, Amara often felt uneasy. She knew Chike was a generous man, generous to a fault, especially with beautiful women. Indeed, it was well known that Chike's eyes wandered easily. He couldn't resist the sight of a beautiful young woman, and his wealth made it easy to act on his impulses. For him, showering women with gifts, cash, and luxuries was just an extension of his natural charm, a harmless pleasure. But for Amara, it was a growing source of pain and insecurity. No matter how beautiful or elegant she tried to be, she knew that her husband's eyes were drawn to others, as if he had a hunger that even marriage could not satisfy. One evening, Chike was invited to an exclusive gala in Abuja. As always, he arrived in style, dressed in an expensive costume, and he entered the room, hair stunned. There he saw a young woman named Zara. She was dazzling with deep, soulful eyes and a confidence that rivaled his own. Chike couldn't help himself. He introduced himself, and by the end of the night, he had gifted an expensive diamond bracelet and a substantial sum of money to treat herself. He had a way of making it seem casual, but everyone around could see that Chike was enchanted. That night, Amara called him repeatedly, but Chike ignored the calls. By morning, rumors had spread, and friends of Amara began sending her concerned messages hinting about Zara. She felt her heart sink, imagining this new woman and wondering how long Chike's attention would last. Back home in Lagos, Amara tried to hide her insecurities, but she could no longer ignore the whispers around her. One evening, she confronted him. "Chike," she said, her voice shaking, "do you realize how much you're hurting me?" He looked at her, surprised. "Amara, don't be silly. You're my wife. I give you everything. There's no need to feel threatened." "Then why can't you resist them? Why do you give everything to women you barely know?" Chike brushed off her concerns, but Amara knew better. She felt her husband slipping away piece by piece. Determined to save her marriage, Amara took matters into her own hands. She began spending more time with Chike's family, getting closer to his mother and siblings. She asked them for advice and learned how to be more involved in his business, joining him at key meetings and social gatherings. Slowly, she became indispensable to him, not just as a wife, but as a partner. Chike started to see her in a new light, recognizing the strength, resilience, and intelligence that had drawn him to her in the first place. Though he still felt tempted by other women, his heart somehow lingered towards Zara, the woman he met at the gala in Abuja. Amara, now feeling relaxed and secure, decided to visit her in-laws and spend time with them. This gave Chike the opportunity to secretly meet with Zara. He couldn't resist her beautiful glowing body that enchanted him so much. He got so addicted to her that he thought of keeping her by his side forever. He married Zara quietly, reasoning that Amara would understand. On that fateful day, Chike brought Zara to his grand estate, fully expecting to introduce her as his second wife. When they arrived, Amara was there waiting. Amara, usually calm and reserved, felt a storm rising inside her when she saw Zara walk in beside her husband. She could barely believe that the woman she heard in whispers was now in her home, standing there as her husband's new wife. What is this? Amara's voice was calm, though her eyes flashed with a fury she could barely contain. Chike sensed the danger but tried to brush it off with a nervous smile. Amara, meet Zara, he said, forcing a tone of authority in his voice. She is now part of this family. Part of this family, the word struck Amara like a knife. Felt her heart shatter. Years of loyalty, sacrifice, and patience wiped away in a single sentence. From that day on, the house that had once been a sanctuary of peace and elegance became a battleground. Amara was not one to shout or scream, but her silence was icy and unbreakable. Every time she and Chike crossed paths, there was tension thick enough to cut with a knife. She ignored Zara, pretending as if she were invisible, refusing even to acknowledge her existence in the house. But Zara, too, was determined not to be brushed aside. She knew she was young, beautiful, and desired. She saw Amara as bitter and old-fashioned, someone who didn't understand Chike's needs as she did. She was the new love, and she believed she could make Chike happier than Amara had ever. As days turned into weeks, the rivalry between the two women grew. They competed over everything: the household, the attention of the servants, even the meals. Amara would instruct the cook to prepare a specific dish, only for Zara to intervene and have her favorite meal served instead. When Amara hosted a meeting for family members, Zara would make a point of dressing, extravagantly asserting herself as the new lady of the house. Chike, meanwhile, was stunned. He had underestimated the power struggle that would erupt between two women. He had hoped they would coexist, each understanding her place in his life, but he was wrong. The fighting wore him down, and even his friends and business partners began to notice the change. His confidence was replaced with fatigue, his smile with stress. He no longer came home eagerly. Instead, he often found excuses to stay out. One evening, after a particular explosive argument between Amara and Zara, Chike finally broke down. He called both women in the living room, his voice weary and his eyes tired. I can't live like this, he said. This home was once a place of peace. Now I don't even recognize it. Amara's voice trembled with anger. You did this, Chike. You brought a stranger into our home without my consent. Did you really think I would just accept it? Zara scoffed. A stranger? I am his wife too. You need to accept that, Amara. Times have changed. Chike is a man of status and he has every right to marry more than one woman. The argument spiraled with Chike caught in the middle, feeling increasingly helpless. Realizing that there was no easy solution, he knew he had to make a difficult choice: either let the rivalry continue and destroy his family, or find a way to restore peace. So, in desperation, Chike sought the advice of his father, a wise elder who had once been in a similar situation. His father told him, a man who sows division in his own home will reap chaos. You've taken two women's hearts and thrown them into the fire. If you want peace, you must be ready to sacrifice. That night, Chike made a decision. He called both Amara and Zara and laid out his terms. He would build a separate house for Zara where she could live comfortably without feeling like an outsider. He would support her, provide for her, and visit her regularly. But the main home, he decided, would remain for Amara. Though it was painful, Chike's decision brought a fragile peace to his life. Zara accepted the arrangement, realizing that she could not win this battle without losing Chike entirely. Amara, while still heartbroken, felt a glimmer of satisfaction, knowing she hadn't been entirely pushed aside. In time, the bitterness between the two women subsided. Chike too found a sense of balance. Though he continued to care for both wives, he came to understand the value of the loyalty and sacrifice Admara had shown him over the years. As for Zara, she found her own place and grew to appreciate her unique role, no longer needing to compete, but instead carving out her own life within Chike's world. Finally.